Good evening, Top Fans. It's Bill from Top Fan Rivalry with another clubhouse and another chance to be with some of my friends, Jackson, Ned, and Dave. Some fun stuff to talk about tonight when it comes to transactions and details. And we're getting close to the long national nightmare ending, which is the end of no baseball, and now we're going to have baseball again. So it's all going to be like everything's going to be right with the world. The Dodgers are going to make the run again. We'll see how that all plays out. But we're going to talk some transactions tonight. We're going to talk about some funniest moments in I've already got Ned shaking his head about the Dodgers are going to do it, but we'll see how that plays out. And then we're going to talk about funny moments tonight, things that we've seen, things that just didn't seem right in baseball, which I know which one Dave's going to probably talk about, and I promise you it was well worth it. If you haven't seen it, you will be looking it up after this. That being said, my friends, let's get started. And Jackson, why don't you give us a start with some transactions? Did Braves do anything this last week?
The Braves re-signed Marcell Ozuna. Really good. I mean, talk all you want about his defense. There's that classic clip. It's a funny clip, now that you mention it, of him getting stuck in the wall in St. Louis in left field, trying to field a fly ball, but they're paying him for the hitting. Pretty friendly team contract. So that's really good for the Braves. They got him on a nice deal. And he's there to protect Freddie Freeman. Hopefully Freddie Freeman can repeat his MVP type numbers this next upcoming season. So it's a pretty good transaction. That's what we were all waiting for.
Yep. Figure out where he's at. So that's awesome. Ned, do you want to maybe cover the Braves, or you want to cover the Angels? The Angels made a move today or avoided arbitration with somebody today. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I'll speak to the Angels. Well, actually, last week they went and they signed a kind of a second or third tier pitcher, Alex Cobb, where they actually traded for Alex Cobb from Baltimore. And a lot of the Angel fans are like, why this guy? Why this guy? But I'm glad I'm not a Dodgers fan and had spent $45 million for Trevor Bauer. So I'd much rather get a guy at $8 million and see what he can do rather than knowing what I'm getting with Trevor Bauer. So the Angels went out, and they secured Shohei Ohtani for 2 years, which I think is a good move. And listening to the GM of the Angels today, it's like, we feel like it's a good valued move that we made, and he's looking pretty healthy. I mean, if Shohei is on his game, he could be their number one starting pitcher. You never know. I mean, his rookie year, his first few starts were actually pretty fabulous. So, the Angels also over the weekend traded for Dexter Fowler to play right field. I think that was a good move because they don't have a lot of his salary. It's kind of a salary move to where, they don't have to pay his full salary. He's on the last year of his deal. So it's interesting with this GM, Perry Manassian, he's gotten a lot of these guys in trades on the last year of their deal. So it's like these guys are almost auditioning for next year, for 2022. And it's not a bad way to go, honestly. I mean, to really see what you've got. You've got a good mix of veterans with young players. And Fowler was with Madden in 2016 when the Cubs won it all. So he's a good veteran guy that could provide some additional leadership. Plus, he could hit him ninth in the lineup and almost be kind of another leadoff guy for him. So I thought that was a pretty good move. And it was a very, very low risk move because you can't really trust Joe Odell. I think they brought Joe Odell up last year. It was probably a bad move, because of the shortened season. So they're going to let Odell, I think, maybe have a half a season down in the minors to really see what he can do. But being a secondary Angels fan, it's one of those things to where it's like you let the guys go out and play. Let's see what they can do. Let's see what these guys can do. And and who knows? Yeah. They might surprise a few people. I don't know.
There you go. They might. I'm going to come back to that comment about Trevor Bauer in a second, but I'm going to let Dave talk. Has there been anything going on in Ned poking the bear? I love it. Dave, anything going on with the White Sox or in the Central?
No, nothing really going on other than, they took a pass on a few guys, and I think they're putting their chips down on Andrew Vaughn to be the DH. Maybe not at the start of the season, but probably shortly thereafter. So not much else there. I mean, Jonathan Lucroy on a minor league deal to maybe back up somebody behind the plate. I don't know. Seems like he's been around a lot of places and hasn't really performed well, but low risk.
Been a backup to somebody's backup, right?
Yeah, it's low risk. But no, I think they're just they're satisfied with where they're at, and there's a lot of social media back and forth about how cheap the owner is and why they didn't go for it. And, go get a few guys, and even some barbs about with the latest move, the Twins have done more than the White Sox this offseason, and trying to make it hurt a little bit. So I don't think the Twins have done a few things. I don't know, bringing back Nelson Cruz is a move because he was already there, but between him, Alex Colomé, they're going to be fine. But yeah, not a lot going on other than that. Everybody's just waiting to get going.
Exactly. And honestly, I think it's your division to lose this year, and you've got some young talent that are out there. And I mean, the Twins are. Yeah, go ahead.
There was a quote from Nick Madrigal, who has barely played a whole season, saying that 3,000 hits shouldn't be a big deal. So.
Yeah. Do it and then tell me.
Yeah.
Do it and then tell me.
So he got a lot of attention for that.
You think? Well, Ned, I don't care what you said. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's talk this for a second. Here's our starting five. You got Clayton Kershaw, right? He's going to Cooperstown. Now you got Trevor Bauer, number 2. You got David Price, number 3. You've got Walker Buehler, number 4. And either Julio Reyes or Dustin May as your number 5 starters. It's definitely our division to lose. I will tell you, do you know who was probably the most frustrated about that contract? Wasn't Angels fans. You know who it was? Padres fans, right? Because they made all this splash, and now Trevor Bauer. Now, do I think that Trevor Bauer is worth $45 million? Probably not, especially not for the short period of time that we signed him for. But again, if he pitches like he did in Atlanta against you guys in the playoffs, I'm happy with it. But we'll see what happens. I still think it's the Dodgers division to lose. I think they're trying to make another run at this. The only thing that makes me nervous is I still haven't seen anything yet about JT. And to be honest with you, that one hurts. I would really like to have JT back. But Ned, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Well, I mean, I made this comment to Henry the other day. It's like the Dodgers are really paying $45 million for their number 3 starter. He's their number 3 starter,
Yep.
Isn't the rumor David Price is not coming back?
Yep. I saw that too. He's not going to come back.
They'll bury his salary somewhere, and they'll get some credit somewhere for that.
Yeah. David Price is, from my understanding, he's got some issues maybe up in here. He did in Boston and he did in Tampa. But, at the end of the day, we are. And Ned, if we didn't have such a strong nucleus with the younger guys like Cody and Corey and some of the younger guys, and even Mookie Betts, that move would have bothered me. But it's a move that is kind of for the future. What are the odds that the Dodgers maybe offload his contract in a year and trade him someplace? Who knows? I mean, the Yankees will take him. The Yankees are willing to spend money on anybody.
Well, I hope you're going to be happy spending $20 for a Dodger dog now. So
what are you talking about? We already spent 22. I mean, is price going down?
Well, now it's going to be 32. Got to be able to cover that.
Listen, I'll sit in the right field pavilion for the all-you-can-eat stuff. Okay, I'll pay that ticket and then I get the all-you-can-eat. Dave, when you come in right field pavilion, all you can eat soda, hot dog, popcorn, and peanuts. And the ticket's like, well, now it's probably gonna be $100, but the ticket used to be like $20 a ticket out there. The only problem is if we're going to a night game and it's in the summertime, that sun, when it comes right down through right field, will glare you until about 7:45. So I'll pay the extra money for the Dodger dog. All the prices are going up. We're going to have a federal minimum wage that's going to go crazy. So everything's going to go crazy, right?
Well, I think that this is what it's going to do, Bill. It's going to be all like the Braves rotation in the 90s. You're going to have these starting pitchers that are going to be competing against each other. So I think you're going to have, if Bauer allows, Trevor Bauer allows, Kershaw and Walker Buehler to, compete against him, it'll be a good thing for the team, and I think you're right. I think it's the Dodgers division to lose. However, Jackson, you're the stat dude, so why don't you pull up Manny Machado's numbers against Trevor Bauer a lifetime? I believe it's something like 800 or something like that, isn't it?
Now it's getting personal.
No, but I mean, when you're
It's true.
he's going to face him four times this year if they play a full season, 4 or 5 times possibly. So 20 at bat
minimum.
It could be a difference. Could be a difference maker in a series, or in the season series. I mean, who knows? So, but yeah, I think if you're a Padres fan, you're probably kind of scratching your head, going, "What in the heck do we got to do?"
Yeah.
Well, the good news is you guys are going to beat the crap out of each other, and we sit in the American League and wait for who's going to come out. We don't have to face all three of you.
Yep,
that's true. Good point.
Yep.
So as of 2018, when they did an article on it, Manny Machado was hitting 643, the 722 slugging, the 1643 OPS with 4 home runs and 5 RBIs and 18 plate appearances.
Oh, so those are like little league numbers, right?
So he got him out 3 times out of 10. Yes.
It's supposed to be the other way around.
I just think it's awesome that the Diamondbacks drafted Trevor Bauer, and now he's going to pitch against us, and we have nothing to show for the trade. It's just awesome.
Well, it goes, I mean, that goes to say with a lot of did Arizona draft Didi Gregorius, or did they just have him for a season or two?
No, that was that. I think it was that trade. It was a 3-way between the Reds, Indians, and Diamondbacks, and we got Gregorius, and the Rangers were in that too. They got Shin-Soo Choo, and I forget what other moving parts were, but that got Trevor Bauer out.
Oh man.
Yeah, we drafted Max Scherzer too. Isn't that great?
Yeah. And what about Dansby Swanson? We want to thank you for that. The Atlanta Braves franchise would like to thank you for that. You're welcome with Shelby Miller.
Shelby Miller for Dansby Swanson, straight up.
I'll make that trade up any day.
Yeah, Shelby Miller's
like, I gotta go.
Shelby Miller's now going to do his thing for the Cubs, so that ought to be fun.
That's true.
Oh, he's on the Cubs now, huh?
Well, yeah, the Cubs are dumpster diving, so
yeah.
The Cubs are struggling just to find anything to put fans in the stands, right?
Well, they got rid of
their
whole rotation, right? Their whole starting 5. It's not the same as it was last year.
Oh, they got one. They kept Hendricks. That was it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was talking to a Reds fan today, and he was going to join us tonight, but he's got a newborn, like a 3-month-old, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm in." Wait, no, I'm out. Yeah, I'm in. So he's got a newborn, and he was just telling me, he's like, "I'm loving watching the Cubs dismantle because, frankly, the Reds, even though they don't have a lot, they still have enough to get by, and they could sneak by in that division. Because, the Pirates aren't going to be competitive. The Cubs aren't going to be competitive. So it becomes the Cardinals now, right? And
Cardinals, Brewers, Reds.
Yeah. And the Brewers haven't been competitive for a couple of seasons.
Well, speaking of that division, Trevor Bauer made $40 million pitching against that horrible division last year. So
now he's got Manny Machado in the West to deal with. Yeah. I'm just happy that he got Manny Machado out 3 times out of 10. That excites me. Because I don't know that I could do that anymore. All right, boys. Hey, let's talk about funny baseball moments and things that you've seen and just oddities of baseball. Let's go around the horn for about 10 minutes to just talk about this stuff since we're all laughing. And Dave, we'll start with you. I know you got a couple of them.
Yeah, I mean, the one that immediately comes to mind is Steve Lyons on national TV dropping his pants at first base and then looking up and kind of doing the embarrassed, oh my gosh, you're watching kind of look.
And what team was he playing for at the time?
He was playing for the White Sox. It was 1990. It's a long time ago.
Tried to beat out a bunch to first base.
Another good one was back to the to rub it in the Angels fans in 05 when Ozzie Guillen would go and call for Bobby Jenks, and instead of pointing to his right hand, he would just point to the big guy and the big belly.
Jackson, can you think of any?
I have a couple. One of my favorite clips on YouTube of all time is if you remember Munenori Kawasaki. He played for the Toronto Blue Jays and the Milwaukee Brewers. They did an interview with him, and he just come over from Japan, and he's just so full of energy, but he would just answer questions with the most random things, and I'd have to look up the verbiage on that one. But he'd say things in the interviews like, "I'm Munenori Kawasaki and I am Japanese," and he'd scream it, and the fans just loved him. Just a big goofy guy. He'd always be just goofing around in the dugout, putting things on people's hats. So that's a good one. The Prince Fielder inside the park home run at the Metrodome.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen that one where he pops it up straight to center field? The center fielder gets lost, and Prince Fielder realizes that, rounding first base, and just takes off.
Yep.
And of course, the Bartolo Colon home run in San Diego will forever be one of baseball's greatest moments.
There's the Prince Fielder catching the foul ball and grabbing some nachos on the way out too.
Yeah. What about to that point, Dave? What about when Joey Votto comes over and a fan grabs a ball in front of him and he grabs his jersey to show him hey, you're a Reds fan. What the heck? He walks away and gives him nachos afterwards.
Yep.
We still haven't mentioned the one that you see on every Diamond Vision every time you go to a game. But go ahead, Ned. What do you got?
Well, you guys have already talked about a couple that I was gonna speak about. The first one that came to mind was the Steve Lyons dropping his pants. But there's one when Larry Walker was playing right field with the Rockies, and this was at Dodger Stadium, and he
Expos.
Expos.
He was playing for the Expos at the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he thought that there was the third out, so he tossed the ball into the stands, and and I think there's a guy running around the bases, and he's trying to get the ball back, and he can't. There's that actually was pretty good.
They get the ball back from the kid. Here, give that back to me.
Yeah. Let's see what else. It's baseball such a funny game that you see so many things that are just you kind of scratch your head and go, oh, okay. I'm trying to think. Well, I'm gonna have to divert this one to you because Dave and Jackson took my 2 or 3 that I was gonna talk about.
So I got a couple. So Dave, you're gonna like this one because this is Carlton Fisk did this earlier, but one of the ones when you see a play and it's just so funny, it just makes you mad though because it happened to your team. The playoffs, the divisional series, Mets against the Dodgers. Paul LaDuca's behind the plate. Sean Green's in right field playing for the Mets, and Kent and somebody else get thrown out, bang, bang at home plate, get tagged out twice, where Carlton Fisk did that to the Yankees. So that one was one that just drove me nuts. One with Kevin Mitchell playing left field in Busch Stadium years ago, catching a ball with his bare hand. Do you guys remember this? He's running through left field. He just goes over and catches it and almost goes out the side door. The Steve Lyons one was hilarious, but we didn't mention the one of all ones, the home run bouncing off Jose Canseco's head when he was playing for Texas. Ding! Off, and it goes over, and then he's trying to convince his center fielder, I blocked it, and he's telling him, he's pointing to his hat, going, it went off your head. It went off your head. He goes, no, it didn't. No. You gotta have some fun with Jose Canseco, right?
The one of Tommy Lasorda with the Philly Fanatic was pretty good too.
Yeah, when he tried to take off on the little ATV.
Yeah, and he took the little piñata of himself and took it away from him.
Speaking of Tommy, how about when he got hit with the line drive coaching third, and then Barry Bonds tried to give him a chest protector during the All-Star game? Here you go. Here's a chest protector. If you guys can look up the clip, though, the Angels, I want to say, gosh, it was early 90s. It was when they had those weird looking uniforms with the halos and everything. They were playing Texas, and this guy's a left-handed hitter, and he hits a line drive into the far end of the dugout by third base. And there's a cop, an Anaheim PD guy sitting there with one of the Angels reserve players, and they both kind of go, "Whoa!" Very next pitch, he hits a line drive in the same spot. So then the cop and the player grab a glove and are acting like they're going to catch it. Third next pitch, same spot, and then everybody just moves down to the tunnel, all the way down to the end of the tunnel. Fourth pitch, same spot, but now nobody's there. And they're waving white flags and towels and everything like that. And then the fifth pitch, he grounds out to, I want to say, Gary DiSarcina at shortstop. And Gary Gaetti was playing first. And so that's one of my favorite, because their announcers are laughing, and you see guys waving towels. And then as soon as he grounds out, you see guys moving back to the end of the dugout. That was before they had the fences on the dugout too. So everything just came right into the dugout. But
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I have a couple that might jog my dad's memory. Just anything Manny Ramirez did in left field.
Oh
Yeah, there's the one where was it during a pitching timeout, or and
Yeah.
he went into the score box to use the bathroom or something, and I guess there's a bathroom back there,
and there's no
couldn't find
bathroom in there, by the way.
Oh, there's not.
No, there's no bathroom in there. They take you.
There
They
is
take you on
now.
a tour. When you take the tour, there's nothing there.
So him disappearing, like and this whole thing, Manny being Manny, like I just, man, and that guy tried to make a comeback a couple years ago in Japan. It was kind of the same thing. He was kind of doing those antics when he a couple years ago when he was playing in Japan. Yeah, that was
when he tried to play the cutoff guy
Yes.
in left field, and he dove. He even dove for the ball.
Where he cut off the cutoff man's throw.
Yeah, yeah. And we didn't mention this, but Dave and I did during text messages yesterday. Anytime you get a clip with Adrian Beltre and Elvis Andrus, there is hilarious when he's like acting like he's going to catch a fly ball, and then they draw a line on the ground. This is my side. This is your side. I mean, that type of stuff is good times. Or when he runs up the line.
My favorite Adrian Beltre moments when he got ejected for moving the on deck circle. Because he was swinging not in the on deck circle. The umpire's like, "Hey, you have to be in the on deck circle to swing." So he picks up the on deck circle, moves it to him, and the umpire's like, throws him out of the game, and he's like, "Okay," and he just like walks down the tunnel.
And you know what's funny about that, Jackson? Do you know what inning that was that he got kicked out of that game?
Wasn't it like the 7th inning or something like that?
It was the bottom of the 9th, and they were down 18-7 with 2 outs. 18-7. What are the odds that they're going to get a miraculous comeback, right? They had runners on first and second, but what are the odds that even if you had a 3-run home run, what are the odds? You're still down 8 runs. So, and it was Cowboy Joe West that kicked him out. So
you could have a whole discussion about him,
It's him and Angel Martinez, right?
Angel Hernandez.
Or Angel Hernandez, yeah. Yeah. My gosh. There have been some hilarious things. And every season you see one or two of them, but there's one more that I'm going to mention. And Dave, you may remember this. And Jackson, this happened before you were born. I remember seeing it as a kid. Ned, you probably remember this too. I remember seeing it as a kid and thinking, did I just see that happen? AstroTurf, line drive to right field. Paul O'Neill grabs it, bobbles it. He can't take it, and he punts it with his left foot back into the infield. And it was a perfect punt to the first baseman, who was the cutoff man, to a play at the plate. Perfect punt. You guys remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
You're gonna have to look up Paul Konerko punting.
I have seen that. I have seen that one.
Yeah, that one was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. I've also seen the John Kruk versus Randy Johnson in the All-Star game.
I'm done. Yeah.
Where Randy Johnson comes up and in like twice and then strikes him out the next 3 pitches away.
Yeah.
Well, no, remember, or was that Larry Walker that turned the helmet backwards and turned over to bat right-handed? Was that the same game or no?
That was Kruk. Yeah, that was Kruk. And Kruk was standing back then you had to stay in the batter's box, and Kruk was standing literally with basically his heels on the white chalk as far away as he possibly could get. He wasn't even considering swinging. Just get me the heck out of here.
Oh boy.
Do you guys remember when Randy Johnson hit a bird in spring training?
Oh yeah. It comes up every year.
Yeah, poor bird, feathers go flying.
Didn't he get charged for a misdemeanor for that?
Did
Like
he?
cruelty?
I
Something
don't
like
know.
that. Yeah, I think he got charged for a misdemeanor, like cruelty to animals or something like that, and it was like deliberate. I mean, it's like some wacky thing that he got charged. Got charged for a crime for killing a bird or something. It was weird.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense, seeing that the bird flew in the direction of the ball, right? Man, baseball's a funny game. I mean, there's so many every season you just see something that you shake your head and go, well, first of all of us that have played, you shake your head and say, you learned that in Little League. How did you not know how to do whatever? And then you see the Manny cutting off something and you just think, oh man, this is ridiculous. So
How about did you all see last year when Luis Robert was playing pretty much the whole outfield and ran right in front of Eloy and caught the ball, and Eloy was just standing there like with his hands on his hips, just okay, I'll just hang out.
I didn't see it, but I'm gonna have to look it up now. It's Robert that took it from him.
Yeah, he took a ball from Lurie Garcia in right field too. But yeah, Eloy just stands there and watches Robert run in front of him and get the ball in left field.
It's kind of like Kelly Leak in the Bad News Bears, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Hey man, that was my ball. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was thinking that same thing. Kelly Leak. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right, fellas. So let's do our around the horn. Final thoughts, 30 seconds. We'll start with you, Jackson. What are we looking forward to the most, or what besides for obviously the season starting, but what are you looking forward the most to see out of the Braves, and just anything you want to talk about? Last 30 seconds.
All right. I'm excited for the Braves to show that they are better than the New York Mets. And I like to antagonize the Mets. I'm sorry to any Mets fans, but the Mets are the Mets. They made some pretty good offseason moves, but I still think the Braves are the team to beat in the NL East. It's a 4-team race, and then there's the Phillies. It's just going to be an exciting season. It's going to be good to have a full season and really see what these guys can do. See what Freddie Freeman and Acuna can do with Ozuna in the lineup. Get Mike Soroka back. Have the Braves hopefully be full strength up against the Dodgers and see how that goes. It'll be really exciting.
Yeah, good call. Good call. What do you think, Ned?
Well, I think it just I think we want to see a healthy season, and it'll be interesting to see how the MLB and the Players Association kind of handles this whole COVID thing. I don't know if they take a chapter out of the NFL, because they were essentially able to have a full season. So, and I think as fans, we want to see that as well. So, no more of this 60-game season thing. Let's play 162, and see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, are we going to have fans watching these games? I want to go to some baseball games. I don't want to watch them all on television. The funny thing right now is, we talk a lot about the Dodgers and the Padres and the Braves and the Mets. All these teams are stacked, and in the American League, what do you really have? I mean, you got the White Sox, maybe the Yankees, maybe the Blue Jays. I don't know if the Rays still have enough to get there. There's not a lot else to talk about, so I'm looking forward to hopefully living up to the hype and watching these guys play some really good baseball. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I love watching the young guys come up. I can't wait to see Andrew Vaughn. A lot of hype there. He's supposed to be one of the best hitters to come out of college in years. So just good stuff. Can't wait.
Yeah. Well, like you boys, I'm excited for the season to start, and I just Dave brought up a good point. He brought it up last week too, and And next week we'll be talking a little bit about predictions and what we see happening. But there's a couple of teams that are really solid, and there's a couple of teams that it's just, I guess it's just an honor to wear the jersey and show up and get to play baseball all season long. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what the Dodgers do if we re-sign JT, although I'm a little nervous about that, seeing that Trevor Bauer signed for, half of the GDP of some countries. And so we'll see what happens there, but I'm just excited to get it back going. I feel like 60 games just whet our appetite. I mean, I love the extended postseason because that's kind of what we needed, but I'm ready to get it back to the 162 and have the playoffs where not every team in the MLB qualifies except for the Angels. And I'm ready to get something to have fun with. And I say that now with John not on, but hey, if John gets back on next week, I'll say the same thing to him. But anyways, this has been fun. Thanks for joining us. Those of you that are on YouTube that are watching this, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe if you would like. Let us know your thoughts. If you'd like to join the clubhouse, you're more than welcome. Go to topfanrivalry.com and subscribe and send us a note that says, hey, we want to join the clubhouse. We will be doing, as we get a little closer, we'll break it off into divisions in a couple of nights and go through each division representing each team. So we're grateful that you were watching with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good evening.